Backtrack and fight what was gonna happen anyway. Heavyweights can't knock the hustle out of mind. You gotta be jumping off the cliffside, trying to follow after dreams. No sinkhole for a retrograde could bring you back. Put my heart in all attacks against the thoughts as naysayers say prayers, layer with love for those afraid to make the same move that I did. Show my wit, never afraid to. And nah, that's not a fetish, I just relish in the jealousy, let it power the rockets. Mother, father, sake, cause they ain't got power to stop it. Me, the motion, sip the potion so you grow Alice. No malice shall pass here. Never remain the same being as you were last year. Ignorance don't last here, only the strong live. Lost in the sauce till they all on the wrong. I can concoct a long list, but y'all don't appreciate the rawness.
Smoke the air in my lungs, it's enough to get you high.
Right.
Don't you fight it, don't you go and leave me here to die.
Yeah. Slipping through these intervals, soup the dudes, just a cynical spitter. So cut the chitter chatter when you see the batter up, better than two McJaggers, McJackin and RJ Bagger with sadder disease and Agasby. Thinking that they can hang and I swing. Nothing's changed but the change in the pocket. Time spent trying to blow like a defective rocket. Wow, men of man, sarcastic on blocking the stocks and tossing what they love most to the rocks. So go lock into it. Locks up on my head, wrapped in headbands while I'm head down in the right direction. Just flexing the fifth gate. Popping the mic, bump the track and then slate. They say he's very scary, so beware the forewarning. But forewarning with the kids, so coming through the gigs. You a taste of what I call that great shit. Just take it and please don't fake it, cause life is what you make it. Yeah.
Smoke the air in my lungs, it's enough to get you high.
Right.
Don't you fight it, don't you go and leave me here to die.
Yeah.
You'll never find me out in Queens unless I'm chilling with some queens on some County of the Kings-ish. Well, lyrics are powerful, sometimes prophetic. At least 2.5 out of 3 ain't bad, because this is Brooklyn. We are chilling live on B-Side, and I am your host, Queen GodIs, here to introduce you to this crew full of hip-hop hope and the authors of that opening quote, QNA band. Give it up one more time. So we just finished listening to a song called Retrograde off of the album 12. That's Roman numeral 12. And for those who know, Retrograde is a lot about zoop, 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 reflection, kind of going back. Sometimes it seems like it's really difficult to move forward with projects, conversations, technology during retrogrades, particularly Mercury retrograde. So in the spirit of reflecting, we're gonna start with Benjamin Chin, AKA Sax Shao of Shaolin. I'm going to start with you because for those who don't know, QNA Band has had many life cycles. It has had many iterations starting as far back as 2000, maybe 14, 15. And who we're seeing today is not necessarily who were the original members of QNA. Tell us a bit about who you are, where you're from, and how the QNA band started, and then introduce us to each of these. Can we handle all that right off the bat? Okay.
Well, I'm Ben. I was born in Singapore, and I moved when I was 8. I moved to Minnesota, and I grew up right outside of Minneapolis. Like, it was a city that's right next to Prince's. Eden Prairie. Yeah, right next to Prince's studio.
Yes.
And so I grew up there for like 10 years, and then I had this idea with a friend of mine, Carlos is his name.
Carlos Kelly.
Yeah, Carlos Kelly. And then so we thought of this idea after I was done serving in the Singaporean Army.
Wow.
We moved here, and we started the band, and we just, you know, we had no plan. We were just like, let's like run and gun kind of thing.
Okay.
And so because of that, and you know, just life, like we've gone through so many different changes and so many different lineup changes, and I've kind of had to figure out what QNA is and how.
Was it originally that name back then?
It was originally that name. It was supposed to be, it was really like the duo, like of me and Carlos.
And Carlos is an MC.
Yeah, he's an MC, and so that was sort of the thing where he's very like asking a lot of questions, kind of thing, and that's what, and I'm more like grounded, and that's what the band started off as. But as we started writing more music, we just I realized more and more that it was more than just us two.
Okay.
And so, you know, he had to leave for some medical problems. He went back to Minnesota to heal up, and
we wish you lots of healing, Carlos, the MC.
He's doing much better now.
Amen.
Much better.
So how did we kind of went through a lot of different iterations of this band. So let's go into introducing these guys and tell us how they became part of QNA.
Let me see if I can do this
Let's
in
start.
order.
Let's leave Soup for last.
So this is the best bass player ever. This is Dylan. He's the best. And not because of his bass playing, because of his beer drinking abilities.
While playing bass.
No, this is Dylan Kamenkow.
Hi, Dylan. Okay. You can give
it on. We met because of our like sister band, Liquid, and I saw them play, and I was just like, yeah, Dylan needs to be part of this.
Pause. That's universal. All right, time out. Pause. Anyway, so you met here in New York.
Yep.
with Dylan.
Yep.
And just for a quick reference, Liquid is the sister band also fronted by MC
Yep.
Liquid,
Yep.
aka DJ Faye Grimm, right? So I just want to put that out there. Yes,
Yep.
there you go. So you're going to hear that name a lot in the underground hip hop scene and also maybe the overground hip hop scene because this person is doing a lot of work. So let's keep going. Let's go to the drummer.
This is the man from Paris, from French Guinea, Alex Gothic,
Hi, Alex.
aka Ass Hat.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Really,
Yes.
really appreciate that.
He's too proud of that hat.
Okay.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it must be a compliment because you definitely don't want to start the show by insulting the drummer because that just does not make any sense whatsoever. Clearly. I just want to make sure that I'm clear now that that is a compliment because that would be ridiculous otherwise. And then who we have over here?
Zaven Embry. He's I met him through. He's like the first guy I met in New York. Like when I found a rehearsal room, it was his rehearsal room.
Okay.
We're still in that rehearsal room, and yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. I showed him the demos. Oh yeah, like
4
almost
years
4
ago?
years.
Okay,
Almost 4
cool.
years. Yep.
Right on. And last but not least, we have
Soup.
Soup. Soup, I have a special request for you. I would like for you to introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from through freestyle.
Oh wow, that's.
Oh, okay.
This is great.
No.
No, Alex, give me some rim. And a little hi hat. So my name is Soup. I come from Bed-Stuy. Spit some hard shit that make black in your eye. Have you wondering why the fuck is he dope? He smoke a lot, but no, it's no joke. He got a lot of things on his mind. He find all of these lines. You know that he's sublime. Put him up in the limelight, then he just might shine. He might just try to give you a little bit in a bind.
And I don't mean to cut you off because that is a nice verse, but this is live TV, so please don't curse. Give it up for Soup. Ladies and gentlemen, fellas and ladies and beyond, this is the QNA on B-Side Live. We just heard Retrograde. We're going to go into the next song, and it is called Do It Like. Give it up one more time for QNA Band.
Second song?
Do it like.
Right. Jump, my battery's charged. Has it been a smoother yellow brother since El DeBarge? Your marauder, your lady's dreams are powered up. All up in the jeans, just trying to bring her inner peace while calmly giving her the peace. The East Coast boasts some of the most potent dope around. Nothing for your veins, just your brain enjoying sound. From the county where the crowns be. Party while you sound sleep. Pull out, shut up, pounce me and my peeps, cause we brown skin, that's regular. Fighting the power whichever way we can. From being vegans to breathe the ancestor at every checkpoint. Best you in to get down or get rolled up. What's the hold up when a circle busting donuts and he taken to the face? Wasn't for race day, for play, but still fulfills. I keep it real, caught the vibe, that high power. Super skunk, rolled up in a chocolate blunt. Bad style, fly flavor. Take a breath of that fresh air flow. Let them know what it really be. Don't get it, silly me. Thinking you could keep up. Tough luck, tossing pillows up to my sleepers in the cell. Send a shell to your dome piece and wish you well. Standing on feet heated by hell's hot. Mind how deep my wishing wells. Yeah. Hey, I do it like me. I do it like me. I do it like me. So who you do it like? I do it like me. I do it like me. I do it like me. So who you do it like? I do it like me. I do it like me. So who you do it like? Breaker, can anybody hear me? Sometimes I feel I'm talking to myself, you know, cause clearly the things I say go overhead and people never understand. I feel I speak and preach a lot, but they don't really feel me. What's the deal? For me to say and spit the truth, for you to think that I'm lying to you. Body and time to see which side is winning. Watching these things play out until you left out. Sitting on the sideline, Linsfield, waiting for some master kiss. Mad at the masochism and quit saying I slew words too quick, you sick. Truth advised that I keep it simple and stick to the status quo. Super Saiyan rat and flow. Like, it never really happened, though it's pretty dope to think about some pinky out fanciness. Open hands, for the folks that can't see this. And with the man gets pretty serious and fucked up the plans of the secretive means. Come with me and just anybody moving, just moving. Ain't about the voters stacking up our dollars. It's about the resources and how we consume products. Real survivors know their stories. It's better through to the future. Cause the kids now skip gang gang and go bang bang till they dead in the street. Every third day of every week, a brand new R.I.P. But I do it like me. I do it like me. I do it like me. And who you do it like? I do it like me. I do it like me. I do it like me. And who you do it like? I do it like me. I do it like me. And who you do it like? Who you do it like? I do it like me. I do it like me. Who you do it like? Who you do it like? Yeah. It's super dude. This here is QNA. We're lit. It's lit. Yeah. Hey, I do it like me. I do it like me. I do it like me. Who you do it like? I do it like me. I do it like me. I do it like me. Who you do it like? I do it like me. I do it like me. Who you do it like? Who you do it like? I do it like me. 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 Who you do it like me? You do it like me. Do it like me. Do you do it like me? Do it like me. I do it like. I do it like. Hey. Right.
We are live on B-side. We got questions, they have answers, perhaps. We left off with my friend here. We're gonna have a lot of fun on this show. Let us backtrack a little bit and talk about how you came a part of QNA. So we started out with MC Carlos, and then we actually have two members who are two original members of QNA Band who are not here, Marina Espinay, AKA Cherry, and Bush T.
Right.
Both of whom are women vocalists, MC, who are traveling the world doing their own thing. So when they kind of spun out of QNA and you spun in, how did that happen?
Well, when I came into the band, it was like just after Bush T had left. And I don't know if you knew this, but he used to also be one of the MCs in the band.
I did not know this.
Yeah,
Good.
so
That's excellent.
So
Thank
Ben
you.
was in the middle of like MCing his own band, you know, which wasn't a part of his vision. It was just like, this is where his music was going, so he was trying to continue that. And we would meet up at the spot called The Backdrop.
Where's that?
Backdrop.
Yeah, that's where we met. We met at the Backdrop. That's
Where?
it doesn't exist anymore.
But where was it?
Oh, it was in Park Slope area.
Really?
Like Park Slope, downtown Brooklyn. Like
that
right
must
on
have
4th
been a
Ave.
short-lived venue because there weren't that many venues.
It was
in
like a
Park Slope.
star, like short but hot.
Hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Like it was there for a minute and it was lit. And I would go there all the time because I did events there, and then they had like a jam session they would do there, and that's where we met. I would just go there and rap. I would be like one of 3 people there rapping all the time. And I had a band of my own, and my pianist went through some health issues. Like he had melanoma, so it was like going on with stuff.
Yeah,
and I was
putting
like,
all the business out there. Okay.
no, it's whatever. I mean, he got it. It's whatever. It's whatever. I ain't gonna go into that. But I was, dealing with not knowing exactly what was happening on my band, and so a friend of mine named Chelsea Reject, who's another MC from Brooklyn, she hit me up and was like, "Yo, Ben, I don't know if you know Ben, but Ben's looking for an MC for his band." And I was like, I heard about it. I already seen the ads he was putting up, but I wasn't on my own. Just like, oh yeah, I'm trying to do that. It was kind of just like, oh, that's cool. She was like, no, I really think you should do it. And I was like, word.
in the classic
Alright.
Brooklyn nonchalant
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was like,
way.
yeah. All right, whatever, I'll go. And then I showed up. I was like seeing people that I knew there, but it was like people that I knew, and I was like, I'm better than these guys.
Yeah, so we
when
get that vibe. We get that vibe. And you know, I mean, we do. From the moment I walked into the room, I was like, here we go. Okay, exciting. Here we
I got
are.
this.
You are Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Brooklyn all day, every day.
Facts, I'm right from Bed-Stuy. down the block.
Bed-Stuy, yes, we heard. And Brooklyn, which is where we are, has this way of really giving artists extra oomph. And sometimes that oomph is like, all right, calm down. And sometimes that oomph is like, wow, no one in the world is really going to match this. But here we are, not just doing hip hop.
Right.
Because Brooklyn, you know, has its stamp on hip hop and the vibe of hip hop that we kind of like project from this particular borough.
Right.
But you're doing a fusion between jazz and hip hop. And it's not like this is jazz featuring a hip hop artist, or this is hip hop with some jazz solos. This is like really 50-50. We want to bring it together, and you're going to see this in their set, which to me is what is really exciting about what you all are doing, because there's classical, there's training here, and there's an understanding, I want to say, of both worlds. So let's talk about balance. So how do you balance wanting to bring the best of what the jazz tradition has given you, and then inviting the kind of wild, free-form, I'm gonna grab the mic and hold on to it, and I'm the best vibe that hip-hop brings. I wanna start with Ben to answer this question. Like, how do you find the balance, not only in the music, but also in the personalities?
I mean, to me, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but to me it's second nature. It's not a balancing act. It's not, I'm not fighting it, because to me, when I listen to jazz, when I listen to hip hop, I'm listening to the same thing. I mean, maybe ones, they have different grooves, but like I hear a saxophone player soloing, when I hear that, I hear an MC spitting.
Yes.
And when I hear like an MC spitting, I hear a saxophone.
Well, you were an MC who's literally spitting through this instrument as a saxophonist, so I feel like maybe that's where the organic nature of it comes from, because you have an understanding as an MC.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean,
poet.
I mean maybe, but like, I don't know. I think I can speak for all of us in the band. Like, we don't think about like, oh, how can we make this more hip hop? Can we make this more jazz?
No, clearly.
It's just like what we are.
So it's a natural, balanced chemistry, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And is that natural for you, sir?
Yeah. When we make music, it's kind of just like literally like Ben will literally just come to me and be like, yo, I have an idea. He'll play it, and it's either I'm like, oh, that's dope, or I'm like, nah, that's whack. And I'll do the same thing. I'm like, yo, Ben, I have an idea, and it's either he'll be like, yo, that's dope, or nah, that's whack. And we just build off of it, and it's like everybody comes, nobody comes into the group, nobody comes to rehearsal with the idea of you have to do this. You know, we want you to play it like this. Even if he comes in with like this, you know, half-cocked idea, it's like we'll all just be like, all right, and then we'll bring life to it. You know what I mean? Like there would be some things where like he didn't think it was gonna go this way or it'd be like this, and you know we just add our own.
Well, that is
little-
really good to know. That makes me feel better about what's happening here, because sometimes it is a struggle, especially when we're talking about the nature of collaboration in general, and in particular these art forms where it's like really the musicality is very important and strong, and then also with lyricists, sometimes they struggle to find a pocket sometimes when they need to find a pocket, especially when they're as amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I
as
started
you
out
are.
in jazz,
Okay,
which
good.
was what it was for me. It was like I had like a back jazz background.
Well,
in my
let me
family,
add
stuff
something.
like
I
that.
mean, to me, it comes from the same culture. It comes from the same people. So
Yeah.
it's like the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, that,
True.
right.
So honoring the sameness and the oneness, but then there are those moments when everything is not all gelled, like we are talking about in this next song, where sometimes we on the one, but they are on the three. Give it up one more time for QNA with this next song. It's called On the Three. One, two, three.
Yeah. Hey, you be on one, I be on three. You don't know what you want, where you going on, who you gon', who they gon' be, who you gon'. They act like they can rap. I rap like I can act. I keep my whole squad tucked in the back. How you not messing with that? When cat come back with the rhetoric, better get subtle, quick, delicate. Buttercups, don't get your petals plucked. Just duck and sit when you see the squad coming, marching to the awkward beat of heartbeats. We follow like rivers running shivers down the spine of the non-divine mind. Numbing when you peep, God shine one lie. I'll be on 3 when you on 1. Better check your lotto, son, and fix that bottle, baby, like your nipple broke. Don't just think nonsense is folk. We all chasing that dollar for every can and some fodder, and use a toddler. Your father's a street in the city and your mother's a train. No offense if you're saying I peep game, where's your scouter? All the sort of you out of, man. You gotta chill, find your lane and fit in and build. Yeah. Build. 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 You be on 1. Me, I be on 3. You don't know what you want, where you going, or who you gon' be. You be on 1. Me, I be on 3. You don't know what you want, where you going, or who you gon' be. Who you gon'? I'm swerving all through these lanes on a 2-way street, bumping a hard ass do-re-mi. Don't blame the speaker box for my iPod shuffle, just dance with me. Ignore them tired ass other fans, person fans thinking that I had them to spare. Yeah, it's just another just to come to flex, and don't be stressed, this ain't the wig, this here be my hair. I keep locks on my free mind, chucking peace on like shuriken. Here, spit this snap, never sure that you're sure again, don't guess, bro. Don't stress, bro, forget it. You think you know, but really don't, so what have you learned? You see, you've earned these answers, massive answer when it comes to style of 2 left feet. My sis is good, been eating good as a trip, shrooms all up in my fat tongue cheek. Better seize the beast, so I scream peace to my people. If I say that I'm going when not for too long. If I say that I'm going when not for too long. What you want, where you going, or who you gon' be. You be on 1. I'm on 1 plus 2, which means me and my team, we on 3. We on 3.
QNA, man. How y'all doing, audience? Are you on the 1, the 2, or the 3? We don't know, but let's find out.
Some of y'all on 1, some of y'all on 1 plus 2.
Okay, so there's this quote says, I got a harem of hoes, a barrel of flows, fire pin for my foes, lyrically throwing them bows.
Where did she get that from? Why did she have that?
Quote from Soup, aka thy Dadamus Prime. You be on 1. You be on 1.
Did you send her that?
No, he didn't send it to
Where
me.
the hell you get that from?
Where, tell me where I got it from. Where would I have possibly gotten this from? So clearly we know he be on 1. He be on 1.
Wow.
All right, so 2.
I know it's. Oh wow.
Yeah, dude, that's not even on
That's
the
not
song.
even recorded.
That's not even recorded. Where did she get that? That's what I'm saying. Like, how did you?
Okay, are we good? We here?
Nah,
I got it.
It's
It's
the
here.
feds. Her and Nardwar work together.
First of all, yes. We do know that there is a team of feds that only like have all of the hip hop receipts.
Facts.
Clearly, that's how
That's a
that
real
group
thing.
of feds work. Yes. So since we're there and I'm a part of them, apparently, tell us what one you be on. You be on one. How do you balance sometimes
No,
being
I don't be on one. I be on 3, and it's
Yeah, but sometimes you be on one, and then sometimes you clearly be on one, and then sometimes you're on 3. And so, how do you find the balance as an MC between the moments when you are on the 3 and when you be on one?
Well, right, but first you gotta understand what I was saying when I was talking about being on 1 and the 3, because
Okay.
it's not even like, you know,
Awesome.
like somebody be like, oh, you
Go
on one
for
right
it.
now, like you wildin', like you're on one. It's
Right.
like not even like that, but
Cool.
it is at the same time, double entendre of it. But the 1, anybody ever heard of Supreme Mathematics?
Yes.
All right, cool. So I was
So
raised.
1 is knowledge,
One,
correct?
one is knowledge, right? So a lot of people think they know,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you know so much, but people that know refuse to ask questions,
Okay.
you know, because you know.
Right.
What is there to ask when you know? So
Yes.
at the end of the day, you reach the end of your rope if you think you know everything. What
Mm-hmm.
else is there for you to do? You might as well just quit right now because you don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't even come to understand, which is what the 3 is.
Right.
So I understand my place. I understand who I am. I understand where I'm going. I understand what I'm doing, whereas a lot of people in the world don't. They just think they know what they're doing, when in actuality,
Do you ever have moments as an MC where you feel like you know?
I'm scared to have moments where I think that I know, because you know, I hate to think that I know something and walk out there.
Well, that's an interesting thought. We're going to leave that with the audience. There are times when we know what we know, we think we know
Yeah.
what we know, and then we
You
don't
and then
know
you
that
don't
we
know.
don't know something. And I think that actually comes full circle for a lot of MCs, whether we want to claim it or not, because hip hop is not necessarily an art form where you go in with the vibe of questions, right? There's this air of, I know who I am, I know what I'm doing. At least that's what you have to project. There's never been an MC battle or a freestyle, you know, that happens where the person's operating from a place of, I don't know,
Right.
so I don't know myself, right? So know thyself is also a part of the knowledge, and so it's not just about assuming to know everything, but you know, there's, and then the name QNA band
Right.
is part of the question and answers, right? So there has to be.
But that's where you will be on 1 and 2, where it's like you're knowing and you're gaining the wisdom on it because you're applying it to your life. But 1 + 2 is 3. Simple math, you know. So knowledge plus the wisdom of application to your life equals the understanding that comes with, you know, the entire experience altogether.
Okay, speaking of these principles, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, thank you very much, Soup. Let's talk about jazz influences. Who are your top 5 jazz influences? And very briefly, tell us what knowledge, wisdom, and understanding they have given to you in your process.
John Coltrane, Thelonious Monk, Pharoah Sanders, Miles Davis, and Jackie McLean. And I think all those people, they knew they either knew where they were going, or they either knew like what their place was in the world, or in I mean, logistically, like in their scene, or in their band, like what their role is, or they were comfortable in staying on that journey, and like comfortable that was their place, was to be continually pushing, continually exploring, and finding what the next thing is. And so yeah, when I listen to those 5, I think those are my top 5.
And then there was moments where particularly Miles Davis and John Coltrane they became restless with the scene, right? And they
Yeah.
were trying to find.
Yeah, and I think, and Train knew that, you know, he even just simple stuff like his tone, like his saxophone sound, he knew that he was supposed to just keep searching, and he knew, I think, like, he never stopped, and I think he never wanted to stop. And I think that's really inspirational to me, because it's like Soup said, it's not, you know, there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know, and about myself, and you know, I can't do anything but just like revel in the journey. And I just have to take comfort in that.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of facts, on that note, let's get ready to go into the next song. As we segue into the next song, Soup, you answer this, or you finish the statement. I know that I do not know.
Anything. I don't know anything.
All right, let's see that anything in the next song, which is called Grind. Sometimes the grind gets us to some answers, and sometimes it doesn't. Give it up one more time for QNA band. Grind.
Thought it was natural, actually that's only true for the flow. At your teeth if I got beef, yet no one really knows if he's about it because I'm peace. Still a beast from the east at the core. Please be sure, cause I'll be good in any hood from Inglewood back to NY. And no, I don't fly. My soul speaks to the street where the weak prey on the weak and the strong. Only speak to the like-minded. I find it to be kinda crazy. And to those who have the knowledge, we have gotten pretty lazy. Soon the baby's gonna be running current, just running it straight to the ground. Another round for these stiffs. Smoke a spliff and get lifted. Then listen to the kid spits because he's gifted. Soup that is the dude I is. And I say, get down with it, get down or move the hell out of my way. Silly spit up thin rhymes, wanna hang, I see you trying. Can't get the work in 100 time, I'm living and I grind. I grind. Silly spitter kicking rhymes, wanna hang, I see you trying. You can't get that work, it comes with time, I'm living and I grind. I grind. Do pick and choose wisely. What your eyes see, I see cattle track, sheep herded toward the mass appeal. That's the real. Half a meal, a glass of water, meditate, restore the order, food for thought. I know you wanna wake up, that's why you pop this tape in. Take a couple notes while you're watching, things make it intense. Burning some incense and beating on the drum will make you conscious. Bruh, you sound dumb, but that's your right, and that's alright. I like the differences between you and I. Cause I am souping through the night. I will shoot with a light, trying to illuminate my people, keeping them from chasing steeples. All of those that remain asleep should keep on dreaming. I'm hoping they don't see you. Better be thinking while your mind free. But please don't mind me, cause I'll be sitting Siamese high. Clear mind, red eyes, a dark Porsche Jedi. It's Soup the dude and I be like silly still kicking rhymes. Wanna hang out till you try. Just get the word another time. I'm just living and I grind. 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 Silly spitter kicking rhymes. Wanna hang out till you try. Just get the work another time. I'm just living and I grind. 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 Right? Right? Silly spitter. See you clicking. Yeah. I'm living and I grind. I'm living and I grind. I'm living and I silly spitter. I see you. I'm living and I grind. I'm living and I grind. I'm living and I silly spitter. kicking rhymes. Wanna hang, I see you trying. Can skip the work, it comes with time. I'm just living in that grind. 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 Silly spitter kicking rhymes. Wanna hang, I see you trying. Can't skip the work, it comes with time. I'm just living in that grind. 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 Yeah. Silly spitter kicking rhymes. Wanna hang, I see you trying. Skip the work, it comes with time. I'm just living in that grind. 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 Silly spitter kicking rhymes. You wanna hang, I see you trying. Skip the work, it comes with time. I'm just living in that grind. 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 Silly spitter kicking rhymes. Wanna hang, I see you trying. Skip the work, it comes with time. I'm just living in that grind. 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 Yeah.
Let's give it up for the band. There's a really important moment that I don't want to get lost. Before this last song, I quoted a freestyle of yours. And
Right.
where I got it from was that you actually released it publicly.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying.
Right.
How'd you get it written down? Like, you listened.
Yeah, I listened and I just wrote it down.
That was great.
That's gonna be a single.
So what's so great
Yes,
about
sir.
it is that in addition to the albums QNA and then the follow-up album 12 that you've released as QNA band, you are a band that thrives off of improvisation and collaboration,
Facts.
which is not necessarily easy for a lot of musicians to be able to just kind of jump in there and to go off the cuff. And then you also have this track record of playing with a lot of artists who actually have their own sound, their own experience. And many of them have been on this stage. You mentioned Chelsea Reject, but then there's also Oshun, who was on this stage, Jazabelle, who was on this stage, and
Yeah,
the
my
list kind of
cousin here,
goes
too.
on. And your cousin,
Theo Croker.
Theo Croker, who was on this stage, and the list goes on. So it's really interesting. A lot of people know you because of who you've played with and the sound that you've helped develop with these other artists. But then you have this MC who's the kind of, a very visible part of this, who not only is part of writing the songs, but you have this whole other side in which you're just freestyling. And I really want to understand the balance. Do you feel like writing songs for Q&A, writing lyrics for Q&A, challenges you to be more mindful or thoughtful of what you are saying, or do you feel like this is you from freestyle to written, this is you across the board?
They're laughing because no. When I came into Q&A, it was like I came in there and I was just like, yo, I have all of this really deep ass shit that I've been thinking and writing about, and they were just like, yeah, but we need to make songs that people want to listen to, so we should figure out a way to like package this. So I feel like I had to be more mindful of how to
So the answer is yes.
not get lost in the depth of what it was that I was talking about, or like how I was bringing it across the table. Like, according to Ben, I think a little bit too much about what I'm saying by myself. Like,
In your freestyles as well?
my freestyles are literally just word vomit. I think that fast. Like I think words just come out and it's just like, yeah, it's just like.
Okay, so we're hearing a couple of different things in this answer.
I
just want to
I
clarify.
don't know what the question was.
Yeah, no, clearly. I was like, and this is one of my favorite things to do of all time. And so, Ben, thank you for rocking with me on this. Is jazz musicians have their own language. You were just saying a whole lot on that bass. And it was curious to me if, as a group, you gel because you're actually listening to what he's saying the same way he's listening to what you're saying as an MC who sometimes has word vomit, but then who also has these very deep, layered, thoughtful things that you do say.
Right.
And I don't know if that happens or not. But, and then on the sax, you're an MC who's actually breathing life into this sax, and so you have words on top of words. Drummers always have words. You're a vocalist in this, and you play keys. So there's lots of content that is happening here. And sometimes when you're improvising, you know, you just do what comes out, but then when it sounds like your songs are actually really thoughtful. As we hear on the 12 album, the whole concept of the 12 album is really thoughtful. And the breakdown of that album, I'll read this so that the audience can follow along. It reminds me of you, from what I observed from you, is that it's based on the concept of a hangman tarot card. And according to Biddy Tarot, who provided this, it shows a man suspended upside down from the living world tree, rooted in the underworld, but supporting the heavens. This is a card of ultimate surrender, martyrdom versus sacrifice, transition, letting go, and this has influenced the album.
Guess who named the album?
Who did? Yes. Let's give him a round of applause. So I want you to be clear, because some artists don't always walk away from here clear about what it is that we're trying to do. B-Side is a really dope show to me because it gets to put you in conversation in a way that maybe the average audience member does not get to engage you. Because they listen, they rock out. How often is it that you sit across from someone who's really listening to what you're saying, the word vomit and the mindful stuff, and then like plays it back to you and challenges you? So if you came up with the concept of hangman, how are you the hangman? How do you find the balancing act between surrendering and also curating? Being mindful, like how do you find that balance?
I don't know, yo. I was just threw in a box and it was just like, yo, this is your circumstances and you're gonna learn some really weird lessons through it. And it was like, my struggles in life just brought me to a place of like, yeah, all my friends wanna have fun and do all of this stuff that like really has no basis on anything. Then it's like, there's so much important stuff going on, you guys. Like, what are we gonna do? It's just like, like, think about it. Like, every time y'all get a drink, do you take a straw?
So we're having a Jaden Smith moment right now?
Yeah. Why do you take a straw? No, seriously, why do you take a straw?
Good. So this is what I get from you. And I kind of want to expand this to everybody. I get this from you. It's this, like, grand dichotomy of, like, how you think and how you think, and like how you portray. And I think that the front person is really important, especially in the MC tradition. Like, it's okay to have word vomit and to be free, but if you're saying stuff that is deep or that is self-proclaimed dope and deep, like, be mindful of, like, think about what it is that you're saying, so that when somebody plays it back to you, like, you're not like thinking that the feds are down to haunt you.
Yeah, like that.
Dame Dash says hip hop forces you to fake it.
Oh, I don't feel that at all.
So you don't feel like there's any part of you that is not so present that you may never.
I think the fakest thing I ever do is like that line you read. That's like, cause that was like, hey, I want to write something and I just want this to sound like some. I just want to say a bunch of things and I want people to be like, ooh, that was hard.
So you don't have a harem of hoes.
I don't have a harem of
okay.
hoes.
All right, cool. So that's good. So recently,
Surprise.
in addition, I'm just saying, you know, some people really are convinced themselves that they have a harem of hoes, and you know, at home it's just like crickets. Anyways, good. So now that we got to the answer to that question, let's do a lightning round, because I feel like there's a lot of things here, and what I invite the audience to do is, we don't have a lot of time on this show, but they really are really strong musicians in so many ways, and young and growing and evolving. And I'm curious, in 20 years from now, where you will be. Most of you probably may not be playing together because that's the way that the world spins. Let's do a lightning round to just kind of see how plugged in QNA Band is. I'm gonna call out some names of some current events that are happening, and I'd like you all to jump in there. Even those of you who are not mic'd, if we have to repeat so that everybody can hear, we'll do that. If you're ready, say I'm ready.
We're ready.
Good, thank you. The first one is Meek Mills.
It's none of my business.
It's none of your business. None of your business. Interesting. Bill Cosby.
That's none of my business.
Okay. What did he put in the pudding? I'm glad. You know what's funny about this is that this is not funny. None of it. So that you only get to use that answer
Twice?
Yeah. So it's done. It's dead. Hashtag dead. The next one is J. Cole.
He doesn't like J. Cole.
Ooh, he said overrated.
Yeah, they don't like J. Cole.
J. Cole.
I'm not gonna say I don't like J. Cole. I'm gonna just say I have not listened to his album and I don't plan on downloading it.
At least he tours with a live band.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least he tours with a
Good.
live
So
band.
then the next
I
one
respect
is
J. Cole.
the next one is The Roots.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why? Why hell yeah?
What you mean?
That's
First
What you
off,
mean? It's a question.
If they didn't
Hold on,
exist,
pause. We have to do like another time out on this. The name of the band is QNA, which implies questions and answers. So if I ask you a question, it really, I mean, what do you think I mean? What is your relationship? Why is The Roots so unquestionably dope?
I feel like that question answers itself, but I'm gonna give you an answer just to entertain the idea. So, the Roots, right?
Yes.
If they weren't a thing, we wouldn't be a thing.
Good. I'm glad that you know that.
Word.
And some people are gonna, but for the audience, remember that you don't live in a bubble.
True.
So what becomes facts for the band, it may be questions for everybody else, hence the name. Questions and answers are invited into this space, claro. So we're gonna end off on The Roots by saying that many people are gonna want to compare you to The Roots, but I actually think that y'all are very different aside from the fact that you honor musicianship at the same level that they do. My last one now, because this actually comes up in the last song that we're gonna hear, and is a popular thing, and we're gonna help him sell some albums, because clearly
God, no.
that is what he's trying to do. And Soup, I really invite you to use your words, and answer them daggone questions. Kanye West.
Can we save him? I don't know. He's in a sunken place.
Okay.
He needs a hug. He needs his mom.
Okay. Have you ever been in a sunken place?
Oh, hell no. I've been in a sunken place.
Okay.
My girlfriend baked pies.
His girlfriend bakes pies.
She baked pies.
His girlfriend used to be an MC in the band. Shout out to Bush T.
Where his girlfriend sing, his girlfriend rap, mom make pie.
Ladies, yeah.
she does a lot more than
Godspeed to those women. Last but not least, we're going to go into a song called Kuroshi, which just really quickly before we end the show, it means death due to overwork, means the grind has been so real. And I think that for as many lack of answers that they had at this last round, there's a lot of answers, or at least insight in this last song. Give it up one more time for QNA band. And give it up for me. That said, QNA band just gave us a full crash course, complete with head-on cultural collision with their genre-defying mission to honor the hip-hop and jazz traditions for all of their complexities. We want to say thank you all, truly, for the ride and the vibes. We appreciate your point of view and sometimes lack thereof, and we wish you all the very, very, very best. And yes, if you want the journey to continue, you can check out this and past episodes of B-Side on our YouTube channel using the hashtag BSideBK, and listen to our podcast on soundcloud.com/BSidePodcast, or just come on by the studio and experience the thrilling ride up close. I am your host, Queen GodIs, wishing you joy and peace and musical relief. We love you, Brooklyn. Till next time.
wristwatch is Irish made and often seen on the armchair with the same hand that I use to pour my whiskey, but please miss me with your bullshit. I don't have time to explain my lack of fucks. I had them safely packed on trucks, but I guess they must have fell off because these days I see them being haphazardly packed in the trunks and back seats of those who carelessly sell lies to the spoiled folks in the hood who, according to the suburbs, have eternally been seen as up to no good until there are marshals waiting at the door. None named Thurgood, so what good came from my freedom besides reruns of Martin? And then live in color while living in this world of black and white mind states. I'd hate to burst your bubble with my blood-stained gray blade, but being a pro receiver of thrown shade, I made my way by seeking better lighting and not fighting my people for that matter. My equals can see that out of all the claims made by those who know, I know all too well because I can admit that I know nothing. Except that space is sparse, and nothing changes with these exchanges in energy. I stopped asking the questions I already know answers to, so why do I still ask questions? Hoping to hear what I want instead of what it is. Questions like, who gets justice? Is it a real thing? Who is karma, and why is it that she brings her 2 cents into every situation, just waiting for you to wrong her so she can wring you from your neck in front of a mirror to watch your own death? And why is it that death itself seems like an escape? Is it because I'm not my body and I'm trapped here in the first place as a spirit running a spacesuit at mercy to the universe, just trying to sing along? You see, I catch the key often, yet seldom understand the dialect. I just ride the waves of the cadence effortlessly, so you tell me, what do I know? Probably as much as you know. And we know everything, so what's the big question? And besides, with all these questions, who's teaching the lesson? Is he or she? Are they like me? What would life be if I actually had answers for Kanye while sitting in Sway's seat with that dude just activating my trap card, smile, fire, and her eyes burning wild? I'm no child, just another young man whose watch is often found on his left hand. So even when time ticks away, I stick to my gun, stuck teaching a nation, chasing funds. When a bell rings, I'll expect y'all to have learned something. To hold your pride in your work and not the ego, because we go way too far trying to show what we know. But how can you ever think to sway Kanye to follow anyone's lead toward the setting sun when all we claim to do is run things, a bunch of things when seen in the shadow of our ancestors' work would seem redundant, shallow, a far cry from the truth. We fruits live on top a heap of inaccuracy, genetically modified information left waiting for a savior thought to exist beyond our unified conscience and taught to not want it that bad. Till you don't even know what it is. Life, love,
happiness for you and yours.